Hi there. Another in the section on kit or equipment, and this was a video I made a couple of years ago, and I think you'll find it interesting. So enjoy. What I'm going to talk about in this clip is the use of a knife by the law enforcement officer. Now, many police officers will carry a knife for utility tasks such as rescue, cutting seat belts, cutting flexi cuffs, cutting crime scene tape, this kind of thing. Anything that crops up in the line of their duties. But the knife that we're going to talk about today is a very specialised option, which is the weapon retention knife, and it's something that deserves of some special consideration, and in fact it may be advisable in most cases to carry two knives, a utility knife and a weapon retention knife. Weapon retention, retaining the issued sidearm, mainly for the patrol officer, is usually taught by using leverage techniques or pain compliance techniques, or strikes. Now these can fail, they can work, but under a determined attack, and we know from generalized cases that leverage, pain and strikes can all fail. Because of the severity of the situation in a gun grab attempt, we need to maximise our potential, and hence we're thinking about the use of the knife as a weapon retention device. When an offender seeks to disarm a police officer, seeks to snatch his firearm, he's not doing it so he can take that pistol and pawn it for money. What he's doing it for is so that he can attack the officer. Basically, he's going to shoot him with his own pistol. That's the only interpretation of that situation. As my good friend Evan Marshall says, it's a homicide in progress. So it is a lethal force situation. So the use of a lethal force device is appropriate. Some police officers may question the wisdom of carrying a knife for this situation, but the law clearly states, particularly the American case law states, that if the level of force is justified, then the tool used to apply that force is irrelevant. So if we're justified in using lethal force, then we're justified in using a knife to deliver that lethal force. We're going to look at the selection of the weapon retention knife. Now, some officers may think it's wise to carry a tactical folder for this. The problem is, folders are a dexterity intensive device. You have to access them. They usually carry a clip to the belt or pocket. You then have to open it, and this double action using your digits can fail under stress. It can be problematic under stress. A lot of people practice with the tactical folder and they get quite adept with it, but they don't tend to practice under stress. And in our scenario work, we find that a lot of people fail in trying to open a tactical folder under stress. However, some people practice it a lot and get really good at it. But the issue is that the weapon retention knife is going to be accessed with the support side hand. So that's even more of a problem to use a folder under stress. If you are going to select a folder, I would suggest you use one with the wave type opening device.
Okay, this is discussing the police use of the knife for weapon retention. The weapon is always a potential target in a confrontation. Every police confrontation is an armed confrontation because at least one of you is armed, and it's a big temptation. It's carried openly and the guy sees it. He grabs with either hand or both hands together. First thing to do is jam down, try to stop the pistol leaving the holster and access your knife. We can cut the arm, we can cut either arm, and then if that doesn't work we can go to the higher level, more potentially lethal cuts to the neck. Okay. One point to mention is something that Nick Hughes brings up, again from the grab from here, that when you get your knife, cut the blood vessels and you trying to produce a spurt. That arterial spurt, instinctive reaction is to grab your own arm. We might get a release straight away and we don't have to continue. If he's a really tough guy and he's not worried about that, he's wearing very heavy clothing and you're not going to really cut through that and produce that kind of result, we can go straight up to the neck. One of the things about the TDI is we can use this can opener action into the subclavian. The subclavian is a pretty reliable drop by. It'll take the man down. You cut into that and it's one of the big major blood vessels trying to drop the man. If you feel the weapon coming free and it's a real emergency situation, just try and take out everything, the blood vessels and the trachea as much as you can, and go in to the eyes, go in for whatever you need. Because remember, this is a homicide in progress. Okay, what we've just gone through is the simple sort of template where he's grabbing the pistol, either one hand or both hands, either hand or both hands. Remember, he can be doing all sorts of things. He can be swinging you round by your holster. We could be doing this on the ground. He can have buddies with him. There's lots of situations. It can be very, very violent. He can be grabbing you with one hand, punching you with the other. Okay? So start off simply, but you've got to factor in all these other types of attacks and scenario them. It should be done in a spontaneous way where the officer goes into a situation that he doesn't know that's going to turn into a weapon retention problem. And then add the levels of stress and make it real.